Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Eternity Bricks here, and welcome to another episode of Eternity Talks. In case you're unaware, this is a series that I post every now and then on my channel, just talking about a different variety of topics and my opinions on them. And today we're going to talk about content creation and burnout and how they coincide and what I personally do to manage it. In case you're new to the channel and you don't know, my name is Eternity Bricks and I try to post content daily, which of course is a really great strategy for growth and discoverability on the YouTube platform. But posting content daily can definitely lead to some burnout, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of tips and tricks on what I do to personally manage it. Because I would be lying if I said that there are times that I definitely don't feel like creating content. And if you're someone who suffers from burnout when creating content, you are definitely not alone, and hopefully after watching this video you learn a couple of tips and tricks to help manage it just a little bit better. So the first tip that I'm going to give people is you have to stay consistent and make a schedule that is very manageable for you. So what exactly do I mean by this? Creating and maintaining a consistent schedule is important to YouTube, but you have also got to prioritize your mental health over whatever it is you're creating. So in other words, you have to find a balance of what works for you, whether it's posting daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Because you don't want to keep posting too much to where it's something you can't handle or you can't keep up to the standard that you've laid out for your channel. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of content that you're trying to upload to YouTube, it may be worth taking a step back and reevaluating the process to make sure you don't get burnt out with how often you're trying to upload. The next tip that I'm going to give you is when you're creating content, if there's a specific type of video that performs better than the others, I highly suggest you would focus on those types of videos, as that's what's going to help you feel more successful when it comes to views and just overall performance of your channel. Because if you're putting a lot of time and effort into your videos and nobody is watching, that can definitely assist in leading to burnout. So for example, for me, people seem to really enjoy my Fortnite streams and they have become a staple to my channel. I play the game almost every day on my channel, and it's also helped strengthen the bond between me and my viewers. My initial plan for this channel, if you don't know, was to create only LEGO content. But unfortunately, when it comes to my LEGO reviews, they severely underperform when compared to the rest of stuff that I do on my channel. And while I haven't fully given up on LEGO content, it is a little underwhelming and demotivating that it doesn't compare as well as something like Fortnite. But the point that I'm trying to make is if you're creating something and you feel like it's not getting the views it deserves, it can definitely assist in leading to burnout and stopping content creation altogether. And one of the biggest things that has actually helped me manage my burnout personally is engaging with my audience. I have a very small channel when compared to other content creators here on the platform, but one of the things that has definitely kept me motivated in content creation is engaging with my audience, which reminds me of why I started to create content in the first place, which was to create a really small community of people who enjoy what I do. So if you're somebody who's starting to feel burnt out with content creation, be sure that you're engaging with your audience, as hearing them say things about how much they enjoy your content can definitely help keep you motivated to keep going. Another thing that helps me avoid content creation burnout is recycling content I've already created. For example, the video that you're watching right now is pre-recorded footage from one of my streams when I was playing Murder Mystery with some of my viewers. Another example of this is I take funny moments from my streams and make them into YouTube shorts for people to enjoy. Those are just some examples of how I personally repurpose content onto my channel, but it is definitely an effective strategy to consistently upload while not getting completely burnt out with what you're doing. The other thing that is also important is you can take a break if you feel like it's necessary. What keeps me motivated personally with creating content is watching the numbers go up. There are definitely some days that I don't feel like streaming, and it's okay to take some time off to self-reflect and just give yourself a little bit of a mental break. I definitely don't do this as often as I probably should, but it is something that is rather important. If you feel like it's necessary, just be sure to tell your viewers to keep them in the loop. Another thing that I feel like can help with burnout is don't be afraid to change the content that you're creating. Sometimes people can feel like their content is getting repetitive, stale, or boring, and I can tell you from personal experience that I do feel like it's okay to mix it up and change things up if you feel like you need to. Because if you're not enjoying the content you're creating, how can you expect your viewers to? The last thing that I'll mention, and I personally haven't done this, is don't be afraid to collaborate with other creators. If you feel like you're getting sick of content creation, maybe try making it with a friend or maybe another creator on the platform, as having that extra social component can make it a little bit more fun in the video process as well as editing and creating the content. Like I said, this is something that I personally haven't done, but I could see it working for some people. It just personally isn't for me at this time. But if you're somebody who feels like you're creating content and you're starting to feel burnt out, I hope some of these talking points have given you something to think about. If you feel like you're tired or overwhelmed, or you start to dread making videos, maybe go back to the drawing board and really think about what you want out of content creation and what you can do to help make yourself feel a little bit better. Because I can tell you that creating content is definitely not as easy as a lot of people may make it seem, and I've had my own challenges as far as burnout goes personally. But that is going to do it as far as our topic goes for today. Now let's go ahead and get into some viewer questions. And our first question comes from Skywalker Bricks 312, who asks, how do you think the channel will evolve in terms of content type and growth? What kinds of content would you like to do / start in the near future? And this is a really great question, as my channel has already currently evolved from what I originally thought it was going to be. My current plan is to keep my long-form videos focused on LEGO and other action figure reviews, while also incorporating shorts and daily live streams about Fortnite. But as far as what the future holds, it really kind of depends on what kind of content people would like to see. If and when I decide to try a new series and if people really enjoy it, of course I'm going to keep making it. The next question comes from Nick, and he asks, are there any games that you plan to play in the future that people have asked for? And at the time of recording this video, I have tried a couple of different games that people have asked for, such as Sea of Thieves and Minecraft. And while I did enjoy those streams, I feel like that they would benefit from being limited to who I pick to play with in those games. The great thing about the Fortnite live streams is I am able to play with multiple people at once, which makes for a good bonding experience for both me and my community. And I have thought about continuing to play single player LEGO games, but you've also got to understand that those streams don't do as well as the Fortnite ones because people actually want to actively play with me. So while I will continue to experiment with different kinds of games, I definitely think that a game like Fortnite definitely benefits a lot to the channel as well as my community, because I'm easily able to play with multiple people at once. And that's going to do it as far as the questions for this week. If you want your question answered, be sure to leave a comment on this video down below and I'll try to answer it in a future episode. But with all that being said, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Eternity Talks. And I am sorry it took me so long to get this episode out. I'm actually having trouble picking certain topics to speak about here on the channel. So if you have any suggestions, I'd also appreciate it if you leave that down in the comments below too. And with that being said, again, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Eternity Talks, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everybody.